Hi guys, Eric here. So I've been getting a few questions on the portable inflatable spa that I set up, and I wanted to make a follow-up video so I can just clarify a few things, how to use the control panel on it because I didn't go over it at all, and also the chemicals that you need to manage a spa and how to use them. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, the first thing I'm going to go over is the actual control panel itself, which is right here. You can raise and lower it depending on how you want to view it, and it's attached to the filtration and heater unit of the actual spa. The instructions don't really go over how to use this very well, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and take care of that now. So by default on the display is the temperature of the water. Right now mine's at 86 degrees, but that's because I've had my heating and filtration turned off for the last few days. So it's on now and it's reheating the water. Normally the temperature will go up about 2 degrees every hour, and on initial setup it takes about 24 hours to get up to the correct temperature. After that it tends to heat up the water much faster because it doesn't start out as cold. When you first plug in the spa, this is going to light up, but none of the buttons will be functional. You have to hold down the power button for about 3 or 4 seconds, and then it'll beep and it'll come alive and everything will light up. Then you can start pressing the buttons and using them. I'll go over each of the buttons and their functionality as well as the lights here. Alright, so starting from the left, we have our lock and unlock buttons. Basically what this does is it locks the keypad. So when you have an LED here, there's a little lock icon. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a little lock icon. If the LED is lit, it means the control pad is locked. Nothing I press will work. To unlock it, you just hold your thumb or any finger over the lock button till it beeps and that LED goes off. Now I can use the control pad and operate the rest of the button. Just like unlocking it, to lock it back up, hold your finger over the lock button till that LED comes on and it'll lock the control pad out. The next button down has 2 clocks on it. This is for the timer and this is for the heat timer and heat delay. Now this spa is a little bit different than regular spas. A lot of built-in spas, they have a temperature unit where you set it for a certain temperature and it will keep the water that temperature. That's great. This spa doesn't really have that, but it's also much cheaper. What it does have is it has a timer and it has a heat delay. Now what this helps with is the spa is just not constantly filtering and heating, so it actually saves you on energy, but you have to learn how to use it. So what we'll do is we'll first unlock the keypad, and if I press this timer button, the first thing that's going to come up, it's going to say 00 and then have the letter H. Now this is going to be how long in the future we want the heating and filtration to start. Now it doesn't have a clock in here, it just has a timer. So it works on whatever the time is now. So if I set it for 3 hours, it means 3 hours from now it will start the filtration and heating process. Okay, so you press it the first time and you set the time delay. I'll set it for 1 hour. Then you gotta press this again. Let me do it again. There we go. Press it again. Okay, the second time is how long you want the filtration and heat to run for once it starts. And you can set that as an hour as well. So if I set this as 3x3, it means in 3 hours, it'll run the heating and filtration for 3 hours. So you can use this function and it will actually help you save energy. So let's say you know you're gonna use your spa in the evening. What you wanna do is you wanna come out here in the morning. You want to set your time delay to about 3 or 4 hours before you're going to use it, and then you want to set it to run for 3 or 4 hours so it runs the entire time, heats up the water, and the water temperature is just right when you're ready to get into the spa. Alright, this button right here in the middle, actually let me start from this button. So this button looks like little flames. This is the heating button, and it coincides with the filtration button. When you turn on the heater, the filtration button will automatically turn on because it needs to filter the water at the same time that it's heating it up. You can operate them independently, but I don't really recommend it. The button in the middle is the jet button. If we press that, you can see the jets in the spa turn on. The next buttons we have over here on the right, these are the temp set buttons, up and down, temperature up and down. I have mine currently set to 100 degrees, so that's what it's heating up right now. That's 100 degrees Fahrenheit. You can adjust that Fahrenheit and Celsius right here with this button. And that's the basics of how you use the control panel on your spa. It's pretty simple to do, with the timing function being the most complicated part of it, but once you get the hang of it, it's real easy. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to go over are the chemicals you need in order to maintain the spa. A lot of people think you don't need chemicals for this particular spa because it's a portable spa and it really doesn't matter. Anytime you have a body of water like this, even if it's small, you need to maintain it with chemicals. This prevents algae and other stuff from growing in there, and it just keeps it clean, makes it safe for kids and for yourself, and takes care of your skin at the same time. So it's important to get the correct chemicals, and they're really easy to manage once you get the hang of everything. Alright, the first thing to note is your spa comes with this. This is called a chemical dispenser, and inside of here you're going to put these brominating tablets. Basically, these are time-release tablets. They periodically release bromine, which is, think of it as a weaker version of chlorine because it's such a small body of water, into the water to keep it clean. So you add 2 or 3 tablets to this, and you make sure you twist the end of it. There's a little indication here where it'll have greater distribution or less distribution depending on how chlorinated you want your water. You twist that to distribute the product, and you just screw it into the side of your spa. Pretty easy to do. Hope you guys can see that. There's a little outlet right here, and it just twists on like that. Goes right inside. Alright, so that's what these brominating tablets are for. If you notice, all my chemicals came from Leslie Pools. That's because we have a Leslie Pool that's really close, within walking distance of our house. You don't have to get these from Leslie Pools. They're really cheap at Walmart. You can get them from Amazon. Anywhere else you get pool supplies, I'm sure they have all this stuff. Anyway, brominating tablets, first thing you need. Second thing you're going to need, test strips. Test your water I would say test your water at least an hour or 2 before you're gonna use your spa, to make sure that you have all the chemicals right and everything's all good when you actually soak in there. Really easy to do. You just take a test strip. I'll pull one out here. Test strips look like this. They have little squares on them. So you're gonna take it over to your water over here, and you're just gonna hold it in the water for a few seconds, and then you're gonna bring it out, wait about 15 seconds or so, and these little pads will change color. What you're gonna do is you're gonna match up those colors to the side of the bottle here, and it'll tell you exactly what you need in your water, whether or not your water is balanced or not, whether it's over or under chlorinated, whether the pH is too high or too low. Okay, next chemical you need is, this is Chlorbright, or it's also called Spa Shock. What this does is, if you need to really quickly chlorinate your water, you can put a little bit of this in and it'll chlorinate the water really fast. You can also use a little bit of this as a spa starter. So when you put in your brominating tablets for the first time, they're not going to dissolve very quickly, and they're not going to chlorinate your water very quickly. So you throw in some Spa Shock along with your chlorinating tablets, everything should be all good. Alright, next thing you need, alkalinity up. This is also called pH up. So if your pH is a little low according to your test strips, you can add a little bit of this and it'll raise it up. You also have dry acid, or pH down, has the opposite effect. If your pH is too high, you can lower it with a little bit of this. Second to the last chemical you need, anti-foam. Because this spa has 120 jets, and they are pretty powerful jets, the spa can get a little foamy. The reason why this happens Everyone has oils on their skin, natural oils, or you know, a lot of the soaps and lotions and stuff like that we use. All of that starts to come off in the spa, mixed with the water, and with the jets creating all of that agitation, it can create some extra foam in the water, but you don't really want that. It's not supposed to be a bubble bath. So you use spa anti-foam. This will get rid of the foam, and it works really quickly. So it's just good to have. Last thing we have is this little star. Now there are many different variations of these little foam things. This one happens to be a star, but there's ones that look like little bugs, and they're called scumbugs and stuff like that. Basically, you just let these float in the water, like this one I have here, floating in the water. What this does is it absorbs oils and stuff like that are left in the spa from our skin, and it prevents the water from staining the sides of your spa. So you won't get like that ugly toilet ring and stuff around your spa. And it just helps to soak all of that oil and all that stuff up. If you can see, this one's a little bit discolored now. That's because it's been absorbing all those oils. I actually need to, you can pull it out, you can squeeze them and rinse them off, and you can throw them back in. They're good for about 6 months to a year, I would say. As long as you continue to do that and clean them out. They normally come in a package of 2, and they're really cheap. It's just good to have one floating around in there. You can take it out if you don't want it in while you're soaking, but when you're not soaking, just leave it in there and it'll absorb all the oils and all that stuff. All right, now that I've gone over those basics, one other thing I gotta cover, the filtration. So along with the chemical distribution pod, I guess you can call it, that I showed you earlier, your spa comes with a filter. And it's a filter that actually slides inside here. You can unscrew it, and it's just a circular filter. And your spa actually comes with 2 of them. So if this one gets dirty, gets all used up, you can just take the housing off and replace the filter with the one they gave you. Make sure you put the filter in before your first time using the spa, and it goes in just like the chemical dispersing little pod thing. You just screw it into the valve. Make sure it goes into the bottom valve. Alright, a couple things I will say about this spa. After we've owned it now for over a month, and we've been using it quite frequently, but it's also been sitting without being used for a few days at a time. I can say a few things, and they're almost all positive. The first thing is, even though we've had near freezing nights here in Arizona, the water doesn't drop to freezing temperatures. I think it's just because it's well insulated in here, but it doesn't drop to freezing temperatures, and so far I haven't had to worry about the water being too cold or freezing over or anything like that, so that's really good. I'm talking about when the heater is off. Another positive is that after the water sits for a week, I've had built-in spas that weren't inflatable like this, and I've let the water sit for a week, 2 weeks at a time, sometimes even a month, and then I'll come back to it and the water is green, it's got an off color or it's got an off smell, and a lot of times I'll just drain the water, redo the chemicals, and get everything set up. I can say I haven't had that problem with this spa. Now again, I haven't owned it for, even 2 months yet, just a little over a month, but the water levels, when I test it, it seems to stay balanced. And that's pretty good. I think that's credited to the fact that it's smaller, so it's easier to manage. But I think the filtration actually works really well. So I'm really happy with that. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I hope if you're looking for a quick solution for a spa, something that's fun for the family, for the kids, to sit in or help you relax after a long day, I hope you consider one of these portable inflatable spas. I'm positively surprised by them. I really didn't have that high expectations for it, but it's literally blown all of my expectations out of the water. It's really good. If you have any other questions, please post them in the comments below. Feel free to contact me on Instagram or email. Also, I'll put a link for the first spa video I made in the description, and somewhere in this video as well, the link will pop up. You know how it is. Anyway, again, hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for joining me for another problem solved.